I was gonna unload this, and then I look and I see
You are now watching the 2023 season of Farming with Duffy Ag.
Welcome back to the channel. Remember I said I ordered another seal offline and it should be the right one? Yeah, I got it sent to my old address, which doesn't help me. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff on the road back there. So I called my brother. I'm also missing some of my documents. I don't know if I'll ever get those. I might have to call the towns and get all that stuff. But alrighty, here's where we're at today. The power people came out. That leaning telephone power pole that I called on 2 weeks ago. He said, "Oh yeah, like we're real busy." Yep, you're the fourth person to come out here and say, "Ooh, that's not good," especially because it's dripping oil out of the side of it, which, from what I've heard, is considered contaminated soil at that point. So yeah, so hopefully they actually come out and do it, because I said, what happens when that pole falls over or something happens with that stuff that's on the ground, or my lights keep flickering, and I'm getting really annoyed about that. So we will see what comes of that. Otherwise, I've been nice to them. I know they're busy, but when they send you a bill for power and your power isn't what it's supposed to be, really not great. But alrighty, I'm jumping around. I gotta go drop off stuff at the post office. We gotta grab some lunch. Hoping to put some tires on the front of this thing and go from there. So I don't know by now, either we had the plow day or we didn't. I don't know how wet it's gonna be, but that is what we're doing. Got a sprayer sitting here in the center. Saw it go by earlier. Quick little rundown because I missed some details here. I was sitting getting my front tires done on the pickup and scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, and I did come across an ad that I had previously messaged the guy on. Turns out where the piece of equipment was isn't actually what the ad said. So here's an adventure to go check out and pick something up. Two things. Coming down into Middleburg. They got some friggin' land here. So Lloyd's down here in the valley. Back when I was sophomore year in college, it all flooded the valley here. And their ag bags literally lifted up and went down the river and wrapped around the neighbor's house. It was a disaster. Like, there was ag bags on top of ag bags. Yeah. So there's a dam that's up to the right, Gilboa, and that's the water source for New York City, I believe is what it is. It's one of the water sources. I think it's the water source, but I'm not sure. But they never, when Hurricane Irene came through, they never drained it. So when everything got dumped on it, it breached or whatnot, went over and flooded the whole valley. And it was kind of, my freshman year was or sophomore year, first 2 weeks we didn't go to school. Like, there was no school. The campus was flooded. Freshman dorm rooms were all flooded. So yeah, there was a barn where those silos were, and after 2 days the wet hay that was in it burned. I remember coming in here and stuff was on fire, so we were moving bales out of barns and stuff. That, wow, this is some unbelievable dirt. Like, absolutely unbelievable dirt. $3.99 for diesel down here? What? Alrighty, we're stopping there on the way back. That's crazy. So I don't think this gentleman would like me filming him big time on YouTube, so I'm just gonna sneakily do some things. But this place is packed. I'll get some shots of all sorts of stuff, cool, neat stuff. But that is what I'm here for. I think that would fit very well at the operation, and it's very, very clean. Well, here's the new whip. We just gotta clean the carburetor. It fires, got good fuel in it. Probably get a spark plug for it. But I think it's a 72 is what he was saying. He has quite the collection. So we also picked up something else that I was not expecting to get, like not at all. So I'm very, I haven't seen one of these at all. Well, I'm not really sure what I just experienced, but it was pretty awesome. I didn't show you guys that much. I didn't want to shove a camera in some guy's face that I just met and at his own place, but everything is for sale there. So Colburn wants, I'm going the right way, yeah. Colburn wants to go back and check it out again. Yanko lived the life too. He was running around, playing, having a good time. So Colburn wants to go back and get himself something, maybe two things. I'm pumped for that. And honestly, that pedal tractor is killer. I can't wait to get home and play with it. Alrighty, pull over right here. Just make sure we're strapped down tight still. Oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. We bought a 112. And honestly, I bought it because of the shape of the hood and the vintage of it and the lights in the grill and just how it's super clean. So it's gonna match running with the 7520, and that's gonna be all a lawn mowing tractor. So I got it to crank. I think the key switch is bad. I just jumped it, or key switch. I think the key switch is bad. So that's nothing too crazy there. We did put fuel through it. I think the carb needs to be cleaned after sitting that long, and probably needs a spark plug. So doesn't run right now, and I know there's going to be people in the comment, oh my god, I can't believe you did that. If it cranks over and it had compression and everything, exhaust felt good, like, I am thrilled for that. I'm even more thrilled just to meet that guy. Whose dairy cows are these? They weren't here when we went by earlier. Right into some pasture. Gotta be a dairy right here. Just to meet that guy was wild. So, like I said, we're probably gonna end up going back there because Colburn wants to check some things out. He's a big lawnmower fanatic, if you guys don't know. And he is coming down to hang out and do stuff. So I got like an hour, just over an hour trip home probably now. It's stuff like that that eats up my day, but it's just so cool. Like, you don't meet old school people that actually, like, I'm gonna call him a hoarder, a collector slash hoarder that took care of stuff and like kept it all good. Here we go. What we got? A 112. It's got a little bit of wheel weights on it. Pretty sharp little unit. I think it will fit nicely alongside the 7520, and it will mow my grass pretty well. So got to do a little bit of work on the carb and a key switch and get going on it. But the big thing that I didn't even know I was gonna get, 7020 pedal tractor with a trailer thing. All this just needs to be cleaned up. Same with that. Like, I'm amazed. Since I went to that place, everybody's asked me, where is it? What's everything cost? So, very good connect. Had a lot of time with that guy, a lot of good time with that guy. Well, I figured this style hood was needed. So what we'll do this morning, we'll get this unloaded, see exactly what we need for stuff for it, and then dive into that. And we got a ton of other stuff, but stuck in the mud, just slick enough. Granted, we got to throw tires all around on that, but yeah. Was gonna unload this, and then I look and I see there's a path of oil. There's oil dripping right there. Blue line. And there's oil dripping down there, so there's got to be a line up top that... Alrighty, so what we got to do there is there's a plate there. We'll pop that up, then we can see right down on it. I know somebody's gonna say, oh, you bought a junk tractor already. No, stuff happens. It just started right here, so we'll just pop that off, see what happened. We do got to get lines made for the plows. Napa makes lines, but if I can just get that unloaded and get whatever else is coming today, we got another pallet of something coming. So the only thing I could see, there's this cap that goes over the transmission. You can look down in it. That was off on its side, so as stuff was spinning around, it was just shooting up. There's an O-ring that holds it in. Okay, let me show you guys. It's tough to get in there, but that just goes right. And sorry guys. So that goes right there. Huh. Okay. That's all I can see is that was off. It fits back in there nicely. Ah, we're in gear. From what I can see, that's all it was. It just popped off, and we'll have to get a new O-ring for that because it's not like it was pouring out. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that cover off and unload this, and then we'll check it out again. Don't worry, we put a strap on for safety. I'm still kind of mind boggled at this, but yeah, that is still the transmission. That's not the clutch housing or anything like that. So, well, I guess we'll find out. So usually, like ones without the cabs and whatnot, shifters are right there. So a little bit different. I like the side console. I like being in the cab. Got the giraffe pressure washer. Oh baby, we're gonna be looking good. Oh my God, that's gonna be, we're gonna shine right up. We're gonna have to get some decals made up. Triangle on the back. We should change these out. The other side's actually missing. I just pulled it off with the pressure washer. But we should change them to John Deere 7520. I'm sure somebody can make that locally that I know. I just gotta jump on it, but wash this all up. So I'm gonna pull this over to the shop. We gotta get some fuel line, probably pull the carb off of it. When we go to town later, we'll get a battery, we'll get some fuel line. We do need the air filter and the cover, which we'll find that on Deere's site, I hope. And then probably spark plug. I'm okay with not having a key switch for right now till we figure everything out, because you can jump across the relay right here and get it started, I think. We're gonna have to put some power to it and really see what goes on. So I did pressure wash in here. While I had it out, I figured I might as well. That's just water running out. I thought I saw something. Out of little crevices. So got that washed up. We're just gonna keep an eye on it. We'll put the cover back on and then should be good, I hope. Hydraulic oil was still within reason, so we're good there. Got the carburetor out. What we need to do is get some fuel line so that we can actually run it all the way. We got the spark plug out. We're gonna have to throw a battery in. This should work. There might be a disconnect or there might be a grounding issue. We'll have to figure out what we got here because it wasn't showing any voltage, but this is directly wired from that solenoid back up to there, and then from there it goes into other places. So once we throw a battery in here, then we can actually start diagnosing it, chasing that. I do not have a battery that would fit in there, and I'm not gonna jam something sideways to try to make it work, but yeah, we'll probably run to town, get the spark plugs, the wires, or spark plug, the hose, and the battery, and then we'll be in a lot better place there. So you can get carburetors for this. I just want to hear it run and maybe mow my yard a little bit, and we'll order a carburetor, but I got it apart. We do got to get carburetor cleaner. I don't have any. I don't think so. Plus we're going to town anyways. We got other stuff we got to get. So got it all apart. Everything actually looks really good. We got to clean some things up. Checked that the float doesn't have any. Nope. Checking that it doesn't have any cracks or holes in it. Uh-oh. That actually might have, but it floats still, so. But if we get this running, they got new carburetors that are like 40 bucks. You just got to order them online and stuff like that. So that's a part, which is good. We'll get the inline. That's new. He actually gave me that. So gaining, we'll clean this all up, run to town. I got to work on some other projects that will be in a different video. So trying to keep you guys all consistent on things, but everything's apart. Easy enough. I ended up running to Napa and we got some goodies. I got spare fuel lines, both 3/8 and quarter. That way I got them on the shelf. Battery cables or clamps, battery, spark plug, carb cleaner so we can do the carb up. So might as well go over there and make that happen. A bunch of people have said, tell them you want 2 more lights and put them over here. I might put workbench lights facing this way because we bought something that when we work on it, lights above is never gonna help us. So lights on the sidewall facing over. So if we put them like that. So we got a little bit of figuring out to do before we, well, we're gonna have to do some work on what that was. That should give you guys some hints, actually. Fuel hose in, and I'm like, okay, we got fuel. Nope, we got no fuel in the bowl. So let's pull that back off and figure out why. We'll leave the fuel all connected. Filled it up quite a bit. Pretty amazed that this John Deere gauge still, you guys can't, there we go. John Deere gauge still works there. It's a little blurry for you guys, but it says John Deere on it. So I'm gonna pull that back off, figure out what is going on there. Yeah, we're not doing so hot. So we put it back together and there was no fuel in the bowl. It's like the float sticking, it doesn't have enough pull down. So I remember what Frank taught me last year. Mess with the float, that pin that pulls down, tap it down just a little bit. But I walked over to shut my phone off and then I sat through a group message and read everything and came back and I was like, oh, so our fuel tank might be empty again, but if we're up here, we're okay. So I'm going to take it back apart
And we're going to bend that little piece down that actually pulls it up. And I think that's our issue.
So that's what I'm talking about. We'll just tap that down just a little bit so it pulls that down so it allows fuel in, because there's no fuel in the bowl. Well, we'll see if that fixed it. Hopefully. Really annoyed I never got any speedy dry today. We're definitely going to have to get a seal kit. As you see, it's going now, but it's so dried out. We got everything moving. Probably just get a carburetor, but I just want this thing to run. So now the bowl is getting filled so we can put it back together. It's just going to leak some fuel from time to time. All the time, probably. But, yeah. That's exactly what it's going to do, is just leak fuel. So, as long as I can get it to run, then I know it's good. It's worth putting the carb on it. Which the carb isn't expensive, I just need it. But a little drip of the fuel. So it's back together. But as you see, it's dripping right there out of the seal. Like I said, you can get a carburetor for these things real cheap. I just want to know that it runs before we keep putting more money into it. Figure out all the little issues. And I know there's somebody going to say, oh, well, you bought a lemon or this or that, or why don't you buy something new? You're always working on junk. I don't know. We paid $500 for this thing. It's in pretty good shape for $500. We're throwing a battery in it right now. And we're going to see if it wants to fire up. So, plus, once you get the old stuff running, it's usually a lot better than the new stuff. See if it's got spark. Come on. Yep, 100%, no spark. We got fuel now, which is a lot better than we were, so we got to figure out the spark. I'm confident now we got fuel, but definitely have no spark, even after cleaning everything up. But stuff sits for 8 years or so. It sits, but as everybody says, once this thing runs, this thing's gonna run. Like, no doubt about it, so. Alrighty, I guess we gotta do some digging. Wow, that screwdriver's hot. But at least we're slowly figuring it out. We got a battery in there now, which is big timing. And it's 11:52. So, alright, we're going to bed. Nico knows what that means, right? Bud, you've been sleeping over there anyway. What are your paws sore? Your feet asleep? We'll figure it out tomorrow.